Hey there, I've been home a little over a week now, and I'm gonna unpack my backpack and let you know everything that was in it when I finished. So we're gonna get started with that. First of all, this is what I hiked. I wore my hiking clothes. They don't smell, so that's good. But these were the socks that one of my trail angels, Dawn, gave me. And we stayed at her dad's cabin, Dave. And then I had my Dirty Girl gaiters. And so those were on my feet. And then my last pair of Topos. And these are the Topo Ultra Venture 3s. And I had, mine are 11.5 men's. So they did pretty good for me. And then the inserts that I finished with are the soles. So they did okay. I think my feet, well, you guys heard about my feet hurting if you watched throughout, but it was never structural stuff. It wasn't plantar fasciitis. It was just big old honking calluses that really bothered me. So yeah, I already went and got a pedicure, and I can actually see my toenails. They're not in very good shape, but I can see them. And if you can see the Band-Aid on the front of my foot, that is for my stitches. I had 8 stitches here and 2 stitches up here. Got those when I got home because, yeah, guess I'm not very good in the kitchen. I bought this buff at Shaw's, and I feel like I did it just in the right time. I've been looking at this buff throughout the whole trip, and I finally bit the bullet and bought it at Shaw's, and it came in pretty handy for me. It started getting a little chilly. I used it to keep my hair back at night, and had it around my neck most of the day. And then sometimes at night I needed it just to stay warm, because I was in a quilt, so I didn't have my head under my quilt. So this is a fanny pack that I used. I used it the whole way. There's a little bit of a hole right here in the top. This got a little bit stretched out, but it's light AF, and I use this mainly for a few things inside, which I'll show you, and then I put my Kula cloth, which I forgot to put back on here after I washed it, and my P-style would hang off of my fanny pack. But I tried to leave as much room as I could in here because this is where I kept my snacks, but I kept my wallet in here. I kept this, towards the end, I kept this all-weather notebook, and it just says every day of the trail and where we stopped, what the mile marker was, and how many miles I hiked that day, and then any kind of highlights that might have happened. So it wasn't necessarily a journal, but it kind of kept me in line with, like, when I started hiking with season 1, when I started hiking with Phoenix, when 9 Lives went home, all that kind of stuff. So I have all that stuff in this book right here. I had a pen in here, and then I also had some mace, which I never had to use. Never the whole trip did I feel unsafe or in a compromised situation. I had my little knife set here, the Swiss Army knife, and then I had these 2 things, and at the beginning I was wearing them around my neck. This is a whistle, and then this is a necklace that one of my coaching friends had made for me, and I wore them most of the trip, but then when it started getting hot, they just got really sweaty, and so I just kept them in my fanny pack. And then the rest of the space was occupied with usually Sour Patches, but then there were occasional other snacks in there. I wasn't a big snacker. I didn't eat a bunch of bars on my in between, but I always did like my Sour Patches once I got hooked on those. And sometimes I would have crackers or a bar, and then towards the end I started getting those little miniature Snicker bars and really enjoyed those. So that's that. I have my diamond, my Black Diamond trekking poles. I got these in Hanover, New Hampshire, because my other ones kept on coming out. And as you can see, I cannot close this down anymore because I bent them. And so I don't know that they should have bent already, but this one is in worse shape than the other one is. And that's as far down as I can get them. But I wouldn't go without them, and I'd much rather have them be like this than the way my other ones were. My other ones were Z-packs, and they fixed them the first time, and then the second time I just went ahead and got new trekking poles because I was getting ready to head into New Hampshire and Maine and didn't want to be with trekking poles I didn't trust. So this is the backpack I used. It is the Kakwa from Dan Durston, and so this is the way I had it set up. So on this part of the backpack, I had a visor that I finally settled down. I went through a couple hats, but my visor I had, and I only used it really when it was raining. I'm not a big hat person. And then I had these camp shoes, and I would put these on almost as quickly as I could when I got to camp because my feet were so uncomfortable. But they were just an off-brand that I bought from Amazon, and they made it through the whole trail without any problem. And then I had this little sit pad that I've had since I started hiking the very first time, and it did well. So it doesn't even look like it's got a lot of wear and tear to it. I didn't use it a lot. Sometimes I would use it on the outside of my tent to get in and out of my tent, so I wasn't carrying a lot of debris in there. And then I have one bottle of water that I kept on the side, and I'll show you why when I turn it over. I have my 2 tags, so I have my AT tag that I started with, and then I have the Baxter State Park tag. I haven't taken those off yet, but I'm gonna be doing that soon. All right, on the front, I thought that me putting these red things on would be really good, but I was hoping they were gonna be way down here and I could use them, but they didn't really do much for me. I should have probably taken them off, and I didn't. Let's unpack this and see what's in here. So I switched out my raincoat, and I will show you guys what I changed from one, what changed throughout the trip in another video, but this is the rain jacket that I finished with. I really like it. It's Outdoor Vitals. It's got a pocket up here in the chest, and I always would carry my phone in here, but this, it did good, and it's a little bit thicker than the one that I used in the summer, but it went through everything. I don't have any snags. I don't have any tears. It was awesome. I started with it and I ended with it, and then I used a lighter rain jacket in the summer. The rain jacket, or I'll go over this in a second. The rain pants that I used, I started with Outdoor Research, and I sent those home when it got really hot in the summer because I knew I wasn't going to use them. And then I had a horrible time with things getting sent to me, so I bought these off of Amazon. They're a little bit heavier than my Outdoor Research ones, but they're Columbia, and they were a lifesaver. They're still dirty. They've still got dirt on bahunkus because I did a lot of butt sliding in New Hampshire and Maine, and so no tears, they held up great. And really I only used them when it was raining really hard, because normally if it wasn't really cold and it wasn't raining really hard, I was okay with my legs getting wet. But these were lifesavers when I was making those climbs and bouldering and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, this was my poop kit, and in here I have toilet paper, wipes, hand sanitizer, and my trowel. So I had wipes in here. Nope, that's toilet paper. I have wipes in here, and I use these not only with this, but I also used them to wipe me down at the end of the day. And I got some Clorox wipes. I didn't really use those. I could have probably gotten away with them. I mean, gotten rid of them, but I didn't. And then my trowel. And honestly, I hardly ever had to dig a cat hole. I would say probably less than 10 times the entire trip. So part of that is because my body was being difficult and wouldn't participate. And the other time is that I was going to Privy's, and then I had my hand sanitizer. And a lot of times there would be hand sanitizer around, and I just refill this bottle. So, yeah, but that worked out pretty good. I started with a Ziploc baggie, and I just wanted something a little bit more durable. So I got that, and then I had rain gloves or mitts and these light gloves. I sent my heavier gloves home when it got warm up, but I kept these the whole time. And all I did was I folded these into one of the gloves and then put this glove into this glove and then just rolled it up and stuck it in the bottom of that. And they just sat in the bottom of that, that pouch the whole time. Hardly ever used them. I might have used them twice on the back end of the hike. This is special. It's a rain cover, and at first I was like, oh, I don't need a rain cover, but the inside of my backpack did get wet, and I have stuff that is not in my, like the compost bag, and so Tin Cup, when he left the trail, gave me his. And so I love this one because you don't really have to strap it. You just put it over it and it stayed. So it worked out great for me, and I just really appreciate Tin Cup looking out for me. He's also the one who got my shoes to Shaw's so that I could switch them out because my other ones were pretty worn out and I couldn't find a way to get them there in time. And so Tin Cup lives in Maine, and he was able to drop off some shoes for me. And then, you know, with Venmo, it's easy to take care of that. So that is all that I had in here. And then on this, on this side, I had my water bottle. Okay, then on the back side, this is a bottle that I drink out all the time, and I always kept my water bottle right next to this. I had my handkerchief. This was usually what I used when I was sweating or if my nose was running. The problem with it, and I wish I could have found another solution, was it would get dirty because anytime I set my backpack down, you know, it would hit the ground and all that stuff. So not the ideal situation, but it stayed with me. This is the second one that I had. The first one I had to throw away because I had scraped my arm and I used it to wipe the blood up. And so I didn't have anywhere to really clean the rag, so I just disposed of it at the bandana, and I just got a new one. And then I had another thing of hand sanitizer right here. This side right here, I had my sunglasses in this pouch, and I hardly ever used my sunglasses, but when I needed them, I'm glad I had them. And then I had my Garmin Mini InReach, and I'll be honest with you, this thing did not work for me at all when I was trying to check in. So season 1, Phoenix, anytime that they would check in at the end of the day, it would go through. I would stand in the same exact spot, and we even had a joke, like, you have to stand here, you have to have 1 foot on your, 1 foot up, and no matter what, mine would never ever go through. I contacted them a couple times, and nothing, I just couldn't get it to work. But if I sent a text, I could get a text back. But as far as sending messages like I made it to camp that night, I had 3 preset messages, they would never go through. But, so I kept it turned off the entire time, and so that it wouldn't lose its charge, and that way I had it, and I just prayed that if I needed the SOS button, it would work on that situation. But I'm not really confident in this, and I'm really disappointed with the way that it worked out for me. All right. Inside. Now, if you followed me, you know that I changed my backpack partway through. I mean, towards the end, because I was under the impression that I was going to have to be sleeping on a lot of platforms, and I only used 2 platforms, and one of them was with my Durston, and one of them was with the Big Agnes. So I have the Copper Spur Ultralight, and so that sat at the top of my backpack. And the poles were on the side. And so I had the footprint in the backpack in here, and then the poles and the stakes on the side. The next thing in my backpack was my food bag, and it's pretty empty right now, but I do have my picture on it, and I feel funny about that, but I was thinking everybody was gonna have like the same color backpack or the same kind of food bag, and I just thought it'd be easy to find it. And it's a really cool picture of a hike that I did in October, and it's autumn leaves and everything, but it had my YouTube channel on it. So, but one thing that I wanted to show you in here was I ended up getting these snap bowl sent to me, and I use this kind of as a plate to fix my food on, like my wraps and stuff, so that I would have a kind of a clean surface. And then I could always snap it together and make it a bowl, and that's what I drink my hot chocolate out of. So, and I really spooned it out because I was afraid if I went like this, it'd fall apart and get all over me. So I really like this. And so, and the other thing, I mean, I have my line for my bear hang, and I have a couple mashed potatoes in here and some electrolytes, and I have a stove, but I didn't have a pot. So I hung out with Phoenix at dinner time, most of the time, a couple times season 1, but I was gonna buy one, and they just said, just go ahead and use ours. We don't have that much longer to go. And so that's what I did when I cooked. Now, the compactor bag, that's what I wanted to say, is got everything else in it. So my electronics, and in my electronics bag, I had 2 10,000 milliamp batteries, and they just got recalled because they can start a fire. So I've got to check and see the serial number. So I have those. And then I have, oh, the other thing that was in my fanny pack were my AirPods. I only used them if I was on the trail, and I hardly ever used them. I had 2 C ports, and then I had one of the old iPhone chargers that I used for my iPad, AirPods. I had the corded ones. I used those at night, so I wouldn't wear out the battery of the other one when I was editing my videos. And then I had a plug-in that had 2 C ports and then a regular USB port. And I had my pump, my flex tail pump that I used to pump up my AirPad. So that was all the stuff that was in my electronics bag, and that just sat inside. I didn't hardly ever have to charge my phone during the day, so I only pulled this out at night. And then I had this bag, which was kind of like a catch-all. It had my vitamins in there. It had this little Tylenol thing, but I kept my thyroid medicine in this because the last time I had my thyroid medicine, they were all getting crushed because they were in a little Ziploc baggie. And then other things that I had in here were I had my patches for my tent and for my AirPad, and I had a screen patch in here. I had some extra cordage if I needed it for the platforms that I hardly ever sat in, and then I had an extra Bic lighter, one of the little ones, and yeah. Oh, and an extra bottle cap, which I never had to use. But I didn't use the same bottles the whole time. When they started looking a little raunchy, I would replace them. So, and then this right here has hardly anything in it. It's got some Velcro for the back of my gaiters, and it's got a nail brush, which I use quite a bit. In fact, it needs to be thrown away because it's pretty worn out. But I also had in here like lotion. I had my Voltaren for my knees, and so that the liquidy kind of stuff stayed in here. But I used it all up. The Vaseline would stay in there. I used all that stuff up, so I didn't replace it. So, and then the next thing that comes out is my pillow / clothing bag. So I had, this was inflatable, and I took the inflatable out and sent it home, and I just used this, and then all my clothes are in here. So I don't feel like I had a lot of clothes, and so I think everything that I had is in here. I have my blue pants, which have a hole in the knee because I fell on the 4th of July. 3 times. I have my merino wool long sleeve shirt, which I got while I was on trail. Really like this. So at night when I changed out of my hiking clothes, this is what I would wear. When it was warm out, I had a tank top, but I sent that home. I have a hoodie. This is it has a blend. It's a blend, but it's got some merino, but it was all I needed, and I wasn't getting anything sent from home, so this is the best thing that I could find, and it worked out good. I had 2 extra pair of socks in here, only because I was gifted a pair while I was on trail. So I had these, and then I had these. I was gifted 2 pair. So Tin Cup gifted me these. And so I would put my lotion on my feet at night, and I would wear these so that I wouldn't get all that stuff all over my quilt. And then when my feet got really hot at night, I would take them off. So I started wearing these, but they were too big for me, so I started using them for night. And then I have, this is my towel that I would use. Sometimes I use it to wipe off my tent. Sometimes I used it, I would get it wet and clean myself off. I bought this hat at Walmart, and then I bought one, which I don't have with me right now, but you guys have seen it if you've been watching my videos, in Rangeley, which I love. It's actually hanging up in my bedroom. And oh, here's my Kula cloth. So this was attached to my fanny pack. And then I had 2 sports bras that I got from Walmart, and they did fine. They were good. And then I have 3 pair of underwear that I brought, and they were all merino wool, and I've since washed those and put those away. But I have the Injinji toe socks, and I only wore them on my right foot. Didn't wear them on my left because I kept on getting toe wedgies, and it was really uncomfortable. So this one is for my right foot, and I usually kept the one on my left foot in here, but I ended up wearing those. I just turned them inside out, and so that's what I finished with, and they went into the laundry. So that was my clothing bag. And then at night I would put my my jacket in there as well. So this was my liner, but I didn't use it the way it's supposed to be used because it's kind of a mummy, and I'm a rotisserie sleeper. Did not work out for me. I did not like it. I felt like I was trapped. So what I did was I would take this and I would pull it over my mattress so I wasn't feeling sticky when it got hot, and I liked it so much that I finished doing that. So this just got put over my air pad. My quilt was in Enlighten equipment. It was a 10 degree, and it stayed with me the whole time because I bought a 40 degree, but it never was able to reach me. It was always a day late and $1 short. So it would get to wherever I was at after I was there, and we just kept on hiking. So it got sent back home, and actually what happened was they were supposed to wait for me to give them an address, and then they were gonna send it forward to it, and they accidentally sent it to my house, and after that it was a nightmare. So I just said, forget it. And then, I don't think my jacket's in here. I had a head net, a mosquito net. This was actually on the outside. I don't know how it got on the inside, but I only used this a few times, but I'm glad I had it for the times that I needed it. And then this is my air pad, and it is a Nemo, and it's a Tensor regular wide, and I think the R value was 4.3. The one that I used at the beginning was the warmest one they have, and I think it was an 8.2 maybe. It was an 8 point something. So this one came in because it just started getting so hot having the other liner. And then I have a light hoodie, I'm sorry, a light down jacket that I had, and it's not in here. I thought it was. It's probably hanging up in my closet. So I'm gonna run and go get that, and I'm gonna go get my hat, and show you guys those. So hold on a second. I'm back. So this is the hat, and we bought these from Cheryl's sister, and she was our trail angel in Rangeley and really liked this. It's too hot here because, you know, we're in Florida. But, and then this is my jacket, and it's so thin and light. Sometimes I was a little worried that it wasn't gonna work, but I never had any problems. It's a hardware, what do you call it? I'm bad. You probably know. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, it's a large and folds up really small, and it was super warm. So the other thing that I forgot, Mountain Hardware, that's what it is. Just give me a little bit of time, guys, and I'll get it. My side pockets, this one had my first aid kit in it and my headlamp. And I had the Nightcore N25 maybe, or I don't know, but I liked it. And then my first aid kit had Band-Aids, sewing kit, a chapstick, Benadryl, some Q-tips, some triple antibiotic ointment. It had some stuff for diarrhea. It had a couple things for ticks, getting bit by ticks. And we only saw one tick the entire trip, and it was on a piece of wood next to where we were sitting. And so, yeah, and so that was my first aid kit. And then this one, and I liked it when I finally figured this setup, was my filter. So I kept my Be Free water filter in my pocket here. So if I didn't want to take off my backpack, I could just reach over, grab it, and fill it up that way. Sometimes I just wanted to get my backpack off my back for a little bit, but yeah. So that is what I ended with. And so what I'll do next is I will show you guys the things that I changed out and that I sent home, and we'll go from there. So it has been a little bit of adjustment coming home. I'm trying to figure out what my new normal is, and I'm retired, so trying to make sure that I'm making good use of my time and figuring out what my new routine is going to be. I still haven't figured that out yet, but I'm working on it. I was trying to exercise regularly, but I have to figure out how I can do that with this foot. So got to get that figured out. And I am taking I'm taking a like a class, a Babbel. I signed up for Babbel to learn Spanish because I want to go on the Camino de Santiago. And so I want to have a little bit of conversational Spanish underneath my belt. So I'm working on that. I'm reading a book that someone wrote about the Camino de Santiago, and trying to get some day hikes in. I just have to wait a couple more days before I can put a regular shoe on. So, but other than that, it honestly feels, and I keep on telling people this, it honestly feels like it's a distant memory, or, you know, did I really do it? Was I really out there? Because it feels like, you know, it's fainting away a little bit more every day, which I hate because I loved being out there. I don't think there was a day out there that I didn't want to be out there. And so I feel super blessed about that, and miss the trail, miss the people, miss not having to make a bunch of decisions, but just getting up and hiking every day. So I want to start figuring out what else I'm going to do. I think I do want to go up into the Smokies or up into the mountains and do a camping trip coming up, but I still got to figure that out because I have a wedding coming up and we have Thanksgiving coming up, and so yeah, got to get all that stuff taken care of. I'm doing a summit party, really just to have my friends come over and visit people, but that's coming up pretty soon, and so I'm spending some time getting ready on that. And other than that, it's just one day at a time, just like on the trail, one step at a time. So that's all I've got for now. If you guys have any questions, or if you're somebody that is getting ready to do a hike and you have some questions, feel free to reach out to me. I love that stuff. I loved sharing the videos with you guys and being on YouTube, documenting my journey every day. You guys were so awesome, and I really felt like you guys were a part of everything. So thank you guys again so much, and I appreciated it. I loved it, enjoyed it, and kind of hate it's over. So if you have any questions, just holler, shoot them my way. All right, bye, peace out. I started putting all my stuff away, and I forgot that I didn't tell you guys about this. This right here is an Nalgene bottle, but I used it, a collapsible one. I used it as a pee bag at night when I was in my tent, so I wouldn't have to get out. And then, if you don't know what a pee style is, I'm just gonna show you. This is a pee style, and I would use that along with the collapsible bag when I was in my tent, and I would use this on the trail when I would have to go to the bathroom, and it was awesome. So I will continue to use both of those on my next backpacking trip. All right, now I'm getting back to putting everything away.